When you think of peak literature, what comes to mind? The Great Gatsby, The Catcher in the Rye, The Art of War, The Twilight series, Berserk? Perhaps these titles come to mind, but there is one piece of literature I haven't named that belongs in this lineup, and that is Steel Ball Run is the 7th part of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventures manga and was released in 2004 by author and illustrator Hirohiko Araki. So, what is the Steel Ball Run? The year is 1890. America has long since industrialized. Stephen Steele has organized a horse race across the entire country with a grand prize of $50 million. This will be known as the Steel Ball Run. Among the 3,852 contestants that signed up is our main characters, Johnny Joestar, a disabled genius jockey, and Gyro Zappelli, an Italian cowboy from the Kingdom of Naples, and Diego Brando, Dio, another genius horse jockey from England. These three make up the core of Steel Ball Run, but the heart of Part 7 ultimately lies with Gyro Zappelli. Gyro is from a family of renowned doctors, but most importantly, executioners. Gyro comes from a place of status. He has a strong lineage to carry and be prideful of. Gyro is racing for money, however, it isn't for your typical reason. In the Kingdom of Naples, we are told of a boy named Marco, a servant to the aristocrats of the kingdom and personal shoe cleaner of a baron named Rippy. There was an assassination plot that was drafted in the estate that Marco worked in, and thus, Marco ended up being sentenced to death along with the other barons that were sentenced. Marco's assigned executioner? None other than Gyro himself. Gyro is held down by his family's expectations. The Zappellis focus on tradition and a strict perspective of justice that conflicts with Gyro's sense of morality. An innocent kid is sentenced to death, but Gyro's duty calls for him to obey nothing but what the law orders him to do. Gyro's father warns him that he cannot bring sentimentality into his work and that sentimentality is dangerous. With Marco's life on the line and a $50 million price tag for a retrial, Gyro joins the Steel Ball Run. Gyro's iconic steel ball isn't just his trademark weapon against stand users. Before, it was a symbol of the Zappellis' power and tradition that they have upheld. Gyro is essentially held back by his family's overwhelming name, but it isn't until Gyro fights Ringo that he learns to act on his own conviction. Gyro's character arc ultimately crosses over the theme of individualism. Ringo Rodigan's quote, "True man's world" philosophy ultimately leaves Gyro with the philosophical lesson of acting on his own accord and his own moral code, even if it differs from what he has already been established to live under. Individualism isn't just explored through Gyro. Johnny didn't join the race until he met Gyro. He's drawn to join the race because of Gyro's steel ball moving his disabled legs. Before this race, Johnny was a very successful horse jockey. The death of his brother pushed him into becoming an unbeatable horse racer. But the tragedy of Johnny losing his fame and control of his legs put him under the impression that there was no hope for him. Johnny losing his legs basically meant that Johnny lost control of his life. However, once paired with Gyro, we get to see Johnny learn about the steel ball's power. We also get to see him become more confident with the more time he spends with Gyro. Johnny develops into more than just the underdog protagonist learning from a mentor. Perhaps the most beautiful part of Steel Ball Run is Johnny gaining a brother to lean on, and Gyro gaining family in the form of brotherhood with Johnny. However, within the Steel Ball Run is the overwhelming symbolism behind religion. Religion and its influence drive the narrative of Steel Ball Run beyond the horse race. The stakes are no longer solely focused on winning the race. Instead, they're focused on the corpse of Jesus Christ. Yes, that's right. President Funny Valentine of the US has used this race to obtain the corpse parts of Jesus, spread throughout America. But why? Valentine wants the corpse to elevate the US among every nation with its power. Jesus' corpse, when completed, can unlock divine power, all to which various characters desire for different reasons. Valentine is an example of extreme patriotism. He believed that the ends justify the means, even if that calls for using the corpse of Jesus himself. Dio, at first wanting to only win the race, now desires the corpse to gain ultimate power and vengeance on the world. Whereas characters like Hot Pants desire to use the corpse to cleanse the world of sin. Steel Ball Run is a story of acting on the behalf of oneself. Araki perfectly intertwines how solidified tradition can clash with your personal morals, and how faith can be pursued for empowerment or for the overall well-being of others and yourself. Point blank, it's an insane manga to read. I don't even know how you can come up with a plot like this. It's a crazy adventure to follow. dare I say, bizarre.